We talk about a lot of things on this channel. We talked about trains, cars, boats, witches, even a set of cute and cuddly creatures. But today, we're going to talk about planes. Planes is an animated movie series consisting of Planes and Planes Fire and Rescue, respectively. These movies were animated by the now defunct DisneyToon Studios, the same company that brought us all of those direct-to-DVD movies. We've all seen these two movies. We all know what they're about. But let's just say that the majority of reviews I've seen haven't been very kind to these movies. So today, this is where I step in, as I am going to share my opinions on these two movies. As when I went back and rewatched these two movies in late 2022, I was genuinely shocked at how great they were. But how great are they exactly? Well, let's find out. When I first heard about this spin-off to Cars, I of course was super duper uber pumped to go see this thing in theaters in 2013. I saw the movie and I absolutely loved it. The plot of this movie is that a longtime crop duster named Dusty Crophopper, played by Dane Cook, dreams of becoming an aerial racer and wants to compete with the best of the best in the upcoming Wings Around the Globe rally. He relies on the help of former Jolly Ranchers member Skipper Riley, played by Stacy Keach, the Doc Hudson of the Planes movies. A little while later, he took part in the Nebraska trials, but came 6th. But after 5th place winner Vonzarelli took illegal fuel, Dusty finally got the opportunity to take part. After some training with Skipper, he sets off on his own to the location of the start of the first leg of the rally, New York, where he meets his competitors, including indoor racing champion El Chupacabra and longtime Wings Around the Globe champion Rip Slinger. And the whole film is Dusty trying to achieve his ultimate goal, to win the Wings Around the Globe rally. I watched this movie endlessly on DVD. However, after watching this and Fire and Rescue on repeat a lot, I started to slowly drift away from this franchise a little bit. However, I came back and rewatched this movie for the first time in years, and man, has it aged well. Before I go into details about the plot, let's start by talking about the animation. The animation is stunning. Even if it's not animated by Pixar, it still captures that same style and feel that the Cars movies had. I applaud DisneyToon Studios for trying to replicate the same style that we saw in the Cars films, as this is a spin-off film series after all. The renders of all the planes here are fantastic. They all feel like they belong in the Cars universe. They look like Cars characters, and feel like Cars characters. Dusty's render in particular had me taken aback, because as I said in the character highlight reel episode on Dusty, he is based off of the Air Tractor AT502. Classic realism, baby! That's what I like to see. The score is also wonderful. I love the many music notes and pieces incorporated into the movie. I really like that one piece when the racers are taking off. And I especially love what will become the main theme of this spin-off series. This was all done by Mark Mancina. I hope I said that right. Kudos to him for making a banger score. Now let's go over the things that are related to the plot. First, I really like the overall structure. It doesn't feel segmented like King of the Railway or something, which coincidentally came out the same year as this movie did. Also, side note, is it just me, or does King of the Railway and Season 17's animation look rather choppy? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about it. But back to planes. The pacing is also quite snappy. It doesn't feel like it drags on. It keeps going, and it keeps the audience engaged while watching this journey. Sure, rewatching this film, it was predictable that Dusty was gonna win, but so much build-up was led up to this that you end up feeling bad for all the shit Dusty had to put up with. Especially with this quote he says to Skipper.
I'm the one who's been flying back and forth across the same fields day after day, month after month, for years. I've flown thousands of miles, and I've never been anywhere.
And you end up rooting for Dusty when he competes in the rally. Speaking of characters, they're all really great. Chug is a great best friend character to our main lead. Dottie is a solid voice of reason character at the beginning and at some points in the film. Skipper is a fantastic wingman character. Al Chu is a great companion for Dusty. And Ripslinger is quite a ruthless antagonist. I mean, it is understandable that having something for a long time can make someone cocky. But it's not to the point where it's insufferable, which is what I like. There's also 3 characters I'd like to mention, and they are Ashani, Ned, and Zed. Ned and Zed remind me of Splatter and Dodge from Thomas and the Magic Railroad, always being loyal to their boss and looking out for him. Ashani is also a really good character. She's sort of like the character who gives Dusty a run for his money in some way. And I know this is kind of a cheesy comparison at this point, but I also feel like she's sort of the predecessor to Ashima from The Great Race. Think about it. Both characters are from India, and both take a liking to the main lead. There's also quite a bit of humor in this film, which I wasn't expecting, honestly. But my favorite funny moment in the whole film is the moment where El Chu has loads of kisses all over him due to his song impressing Rochelle the night before. The way how Rochelle just pulls El Chu to give him more kisses is just so hilarious. And Dusty's like, what is going on right now? It's just so brilliant. Something that I also want to give some limelight on is the moment where Dusty finds out that Skipper only took on one mission in the Jolly Rancher squadron. Before this moment, Skipper was telling Dusty all of these stories of the Jolly Ranchers to give him advice on how to compete in the rally. Only to find out that Skipper did just one mission. Now, here's a theory that I have about this. I thought about this and thought, Skipper isn't lying about this. Because if you stop and think about it, all of these stories seem to be true. Like, after Dusty confronts Skipper about his crash, he tells Dusty about his one mission. Now, I have a theory that Skipper might have heard about these stories while he was training his squadron. That may just be me overthinking this right now, but that's just a film theory. Now, here's something that I've been wanting to address for a while now. For what I've heard from certain people, they say that this movie series is a rip-off to Cars. And to that I say, that's just complete bullshit. But what is a rip-off exactly? A rip-off movie is basically taking an already existing property, but rewriting it and readdressing it with bad animation, bad acting, and lack of caring. Now, when I watched these movies, they didn't even feel like rip-offs. At least the animation for one looks stunning. But what pisses me off about the review for these movies, specifically the first one, is that whenever I see someone criticize this movie, they're just not a fan of Disney, or they're just not a fan of how the concept of talking cars worked. I think a Lucky Tug said it best. If a movie is good and original, and has a lot of heart and passion put into it, then it's a good movie, regardless of why it exists. And I couldn't agree more on that. And Planes falls into that category. Hell, I'd even say A Car's Life is more so a rip-off to Cars more than what most people say Planes is. And that is why Planes will continue to age so well. From its amazing animation, to its likable and interesting characters, to a banger score, it is very impressive looking. Regardless of how people felt about this movie, that didn't stop DisneyToon Studios from making a sequel to this movie. And how does the sequel hold up after 10 years? Well, let's find out. The plot of this movie is a little bit more simplistic compared to the more intriguing plot of the first movie. Since winning the Wings Around the Globe rally, Dusty has gone on to become a worldwide aerial racing star. But one day, whilst training with Skipper, his gearbox breaks. It didn't seem too serious at first, until Donnie explained that his gearbox type was out of production. And until they could find a new one somewhere, it meant that Dusty's racing career was coming to an end. However, after causing a fire at the Fill and Fly whilst on a defiant flight, officials said that Prop Wash Junction would be closed down until they could find another firefighter. And Dusty volunteers to train with the aerial firefighters at the Piston Peak Air Attack Base as a single-engine air tanker, headed by Blade Ranger. From what I noticed with this movie, the pacing is a lot more snappier compared to the first movie. It's still quicker paced, sure, but like the first 3 minutes of the film, we're already thrown into the main plot point of the movie, with Dusty's gearbox breaking it all. I'm not sure how to feel about that, if I'm honest, but it's still interesting nonetheless. The animation still keeps up its visual quality, with some genuinely impressive shots here and there, like this shot of Auguring Canyon as an example. The characters here are all very interesting, especially Blade and Differ, who are probably the best new characters in this film. Maru is also just a savage in some parts. I really like that one moment he says to Cat Spinner about Blade.
Where's Blade?
Oh, he's out back sipping a mojito. Where do you think he is? He's out fighting the fire!
It's so savage and hilarious. That's what I love about these characters, whether from the Cars franchise or the Planes franchise. Speaking of Cad, yeah, he's fine. All he wants is just to keep his lodge safe. A bit weird of him to do, but he could be a worse antagonist. Dusty was also handled really well in this film. He's a little bit more cocky in this film compared to how he was in the first movie, but I'm okay with that. You really understand his pain when he finds out about his gearbox and stuff. And I love that moment where he risks it all to save Harvey and Winnie. What I say here about his portrayal really aligns with my character highlight reel episode of him. The rest of the returnees don't do a whole lot this time other than support Dusty, but Matey was a big one in this movie. In the first movie, he was a silent background character that didn't do much. In this movie, they gave him something to do. He's starting to wear out over time. And he's the one that makes Dusty convince himself to become Prop Wash's second firefighter. I like that. I don't have much to say about this sequel, other than it's a great successor to the first movie. The animation is still strikingly great, the new characters are fun and interesting, and the score is just as awesome as it was in the first movie. And I even love the song Still I Fly. Oh yeah, and Runway Romance is such a bop. Oh yeah, Thunderstruck was included as a licensed song in this movie. That was neat. Although I prefer this to the first movie, it's not as strong as Toy Story 2 or Finding Dory is, but it's still a great movie. I'd recommend it. And that was the Planes movies. What a ride it's been, huh? Now for the question I'm sure everyone has been wanting to ask me. Are these movies rip-offs? Fuck no. The word I would use to describe these movies would be unique. What I mean by that is that they're unique for expanding the world of Cars even further, adding even more lore and characters into the franchise. Hell, Brent Mustangburger from Cars 2 makes an appearance in these movies. That's just how much they cared about this. This was based on an idea John Lasseter had after all, after scrapping this Trains movie. Now that would have for sure been a rip-off to Thomas. And it might have been a rip-off to Cars if it was successful. But thankfully it wasn't. Instead, we got these two wonderful movies that gave the Cars franchise new light. And they will forever hold a special place in my heart as some of Disney's best movies. Outside of Pixar, that is. They're not the best Disney things in existence, mind you. But they're up there. In the top 5, definitely. Considering all the crap Disney has done with their movies lately, seeing these movies in 2024 was such a breath of fresh air. Whew! That was a lot to get through. But I hope you guys enjoyed this review. The Mario movie review that I did last year did really well. And ever since that, I've been wanting to tap into other movie series to try and start breaking out a bit. So maybe I'll cover the Finding Nemo series, or the Toy Story series, or the Cars series, or the Ice Age series. Who knows? If this video does well, I may make more of these movie reviews. But we'll just have to wait and see. Speaking of reviews, the Owl House review will be coming in the very near future. So if you guys want to stay tuned for that, subscribe and turn on post notifications to not miss out on that review. And if you guys enjoyed this review, leave a like and comment down below what your thoughts on the Planes movies are. And I will see you all for the next review. Bye guys.